Welcome back to We Watched a Movie. I'm cold and you're cold and we're sexual together.
And 30th. Now this is Insidious 2, technically, because Insidious 3 was Insidious 1. This is the follow-up to that, so the Insidious series goes Insidious 3, Insidious 4, Insidious 1, Insidious 2. If you're going to watch them in the correct order, that's how it goes.
Why'd you use two hands?
Now, Insidious 3 wasn't really a Lin Shaye backstory or whatever. It was just kind of a movie where shit happened. This Insidious film actually goes into, this is the true origin story of Elise, of Lin Shaye, who fucking nailed the shit out of this movie.
She can do no wrong. She took that fucking thing and put it right up your butthole and said, accept it and embrace it.
I'm just going to say what no one else is going to say, and what we're all thinking is that... No, a fucking...
She's a psychic.
No,
she can see that coming.
In today's world where there's no star power and there's no like leads or anything like that and crazy shit, you've got an older woman who's fronting a franchise and who's interesting as shit, and nobody fucking saw that coming in a horror franchise. It's not some fucking Darjeeling Limited fucking...
What's that?
I can't get it up because I'm Tommy Lee Jones' husband.
Can you only see that at Taj Mahal?
Fucking Oscar movie. This is a horror movie, and she's fucking carrying the shit out of it.
Lin Shaye is a great actress. And she's also a part of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise with Bob Shaye, her brother. She's a bright light.
And it's not some B-movie bullshit, like people just like her because they like her because she was in so-and-so movie and she was in this obscure horror movie. She was in obscure horror movies, she was in huge classic horror movies, but it's really her acting.
Elise's father in this is a piece of shit. He's an asshole. What they do is they live in a house that's right next door to a maximum security prison where they ride the lightning and they have a lot of electric...
Governor's gonna call, swear, just give him 5 more minutes.
Fuck, 2 minutes to happen.
Hit
the switch! Fuck it. But yeah, a lot of prisoners have been executed there and all sorts of... And Lin Shaye, Elise, has been growing up in this house, and of course being psychic and being touched in that way, she can see and feel all these emotions. Her dad is... it's in New Mexico. It's at Five Keys, New Mexico, actually. I didn't know if that was a real place. I guess it is. That's crazy. I don't want to get anything from there.
Sure.
Ever. But, because you have to have
bungee jump in there.
You have to have 5 keys to open it up.
They just don't have the regulations.
Yeah, I don't have 5 keys. But, anyway, he's not redneck, but he's almost redneck. You know what I mean? He's like this drunk kind of guy that sits in his like leather chair and he watches his his bullshit TV, and he doesn't want to hear any of this ghost stuff going on. And
he's definitely the creepy guy behind you at Walmart judging you for buying like snacks and like bologna, while all he has is a rake.
Like he's like, you should get MREs.
And he smells like oil.
So he doesn't want to hear any of that shit. Now, Elise's mother is fine with her ghostly abilities, and she tells her, you have this ability, don't stop using it, this is a gift.
Journey place.
Yeah, and she also has a brother named Christian. He's a little bitch boy, I'm sorry. Like even a little...
No, he's actually like everybody else would be. He's like, fuck this shit.
He's meaning a bitch boy that he was like, stop it, I'm telling mommy, I would just run the fuck out of the room and sleep with mom and dad. Like, I don't need to hear your shit.
Yeah, but he saw him to his sister, she got the shit kicked out of her for believing in that shit. But
that's true.
She gives him a whistle. To say, and,
well,
and this is touching
the whistle
scene,
comes back into play later on.
It's this touching scene. She's like, "Hey, here's a whistle. If you're scared, fucking, blow it out your ass." But
put it in your butthole and fart.
That's the opening scene of the movie. It's like you get to open with a really good scare.
That part was great.
Fucking Darth Maul shows the fuck up, and it's like
flashlight
flashlight Darth Maul because it's this really quick and I literally screamed. I was like, "No, fuck!" Because Darth Maul, that was one of the best jump scares of my entire life. Was in the original Insidious when he first appealed on that. He appealed to the governor. When he first showed up on that fucking wall in Insidious, it scared the shit out of me. I actually did, we joke around a lot about how jump scares get you. A little bit of pee came out of my wiener on that one. That was a pretty good jump scare in this one too.
You know what really set that scene up is because, so the whole situation is that, like we said...
I'm gay.
Yeah, I'm gay and I'm happy a lot. So, what we were going with, you fucking bitch, what we were getting to is that Elise and Christian are going to bed. The father has sent them there because Elise has already freaked him out. She's like, the man that just got electrocuted was so-and-so, and this happened and that happened. He's like, send her to bed, Martha! And then she's like, why did you say that name? The dad walks in, it's like, put your hands against that fucking wall, like to Elise. Yeah. And he takes a goddamn cane and beats the shit out of her like she owes him money. And like, I'm like, damn, like it got dark quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already dark with the scary supernatural stuff, but that's actually more scary and fucked up than what I just saw.
That scene's actually really hard to watch. Like, it's not just that he hits her, then he takes her and like she's screaming, and he takes her and he locks her in the fucking basement where she knows she's gonna see all sorts of shit. And it's just, dude, that scene's actually really fucking hard to watch. And we talked about this because there's an underlying theme in this movie about overcoming abuse of any sort. And that's a deep aspect that not a lot of people are going to give this movie credit for, but if you watch for it, it's there. But she goes down there, and while she's down there, she goes to open this door, and this fucking key finger motherfucker's like, I won't give you all the keys. Let me get inside them skills.
And she's like, it sounds like a good deal, Jim. And then
Mark
she
Wahlberg shows up. He's like, let me in the fucking house.
And then he was like, I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, so she opens this
We gotta outrun the wind.
metaphorical door. And when she opens the door, she lets this key monster demon out. By doing so, the mother runs down the stairs when Elise is in distress. When she's in misery and she's screaming, the mother runs. She runs downstairs. She sees Elise with her fucking eyes backed in the back of her head. She's like, ugh.
She looks like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street after he takes all those fucking Quaidolls or whatever.
That's exactly, actually, the way she looked was the way that I looked at the end of Titanic. You're like, oh, when's it over? But yeah, she was all, possessed. Then this fucking wire comes out, wraps itself around her neck, and hangs her from the ceiling. The dad runs downstairs and screams at Elise, and that's where we get into modern day Elise at 2010, because of course, Elise is dead at this point. But
allow me to do us both a favor, because we'll do this all night, right?
Go ahead.
Right?
What are you doing?
Right.
Oh shit! Fucking breath! It smells like pickles.
Let's fast forward this bitch real quick, because there's a lot that happens, right? There's a whole lot that happens. Basically, Elise had a fucked up childhood. This guy calls, this redneck dude calls. He needs her help, and she decides to take Tucker and Tucker and Specs, and go down there to help this man.
Yeah.
Now, when they get there, and if you're watching this, you've seen the movie, so you know. They get there, they think this guy is just being haunted. He's not. It turns out, Lifetime movie, this is real shit happening. This motherfucker has somebody locked up in the basement. He has a girl locked up in the basement. And shocker! Later on in the film, when she goes deeper into the further, she realizes that her dad was actually being taken over by this fucking demon that lived down there as well,
bitch.
who just loves fucking evil, and he's pure evil, and he drove these men to do these evil fucking things, and he was the cause behind it all. So the whole underlying fucking story of the film is that evil begets other evil, and people can, when they're raised shittily and they're beaten when they're kids, they can either overcome it and become good people, or they can feed the evil or feed the light. Jedi lightsabers. Insidious 4.
What the fuck are you talking about? I understand what you're saying. You didn't have to throw the Jedi in there. Jedi.
You don't have to go Jedi, dog.
You don't have to go. You don't have to go to the Dark Force, bro. You want this, don't you?
And this movie ebbed and flowed a lot. Sometimes I was like, where the fuck are we going?
I don't know.
Like, at one point, when you realize that redneck Jim Bob actually has a girl locked in, and then he's got them locked in the basement.
That was scary, though.
And then then Specs is running around upstairs, Lee Winnell. That whole scene, I was like, what the fuck did this become?
That was the sequence.
Crime?
That was the sequence we were talking about in the non-spoiler review when it shifts into gears. When it shifts into turbo, like Power Rangers, it goes from supernatural to real life shit. Because when
you think they're gonna stay there and you get pissed, but then they ease back into supernatural and you're okay again.
I think the ease back was good, but you slide it a little bit.
Just a tip.
But when they go with the actual real world shit, when they actually open the door and you see this fucking girl, you automatically, because your mind has already been accustomed to the fact that all the supernatural is going on, you think it's a fucking ghost. Because she's sitting all crouched up, she's got this like nightie on, and then she goes, huh? And I'm like, if I was being locked down there and been eating oatmeal and pissing in a bucket, I'd be like, motherfucker, help me!
So just say help.
And I was like, but she was like all like, catatonic and stuff.
For the sake of the movie, too. How shocked were you when Lee Winnell dropped the fucking, that dresser on him and killed his ass? By the way, it was the dresser from The Conjuring.
Was it?
No.
Probably. It was cool, though. I thought it was a good scene. Wasn't this movie rated PG-13?
Yeah, I didn't expect. And Lynn Shay says fuck at one point.
Well,
when she said that, I was like, fucking ride the lightning.
I think you're allowed to say. I think you're allowed to say fuck one time. Yeah. So we would be screwed.
She used the shit out of it. When Lynn Shay said fuck, I was like, it was like seeing the Mastodon in Power Rangers for the first time.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was amazing.
So, anyhow, what happens is that Elise.
Mastodon.
Elise. That was terrible. You gotta go like this. Triceratops! So Elise she reconciles with Christian, her brother. By this time, he's Senator Kelly, grown up. And I knew that motherfucker had a hard time. One of the daughters gets kidnapped because fucking Senator Roberts wants to go in there and get his goddamn whistle. Fuck the whistle. Fuck the whistle. But he wants to get this whistle. That's all he wants. He wants to get his whistle. And so he takes his daughters into this haunted house, and he knows the motherfucker's haunted. But
you're also committing fucking B&Es.
Yeah, he doesn't care. And it leads to one of his daughters getting possessed.
She got that 3 lock box.
Yeah, I wonder if he put it
1, 2, 3 lock box.
I think he put it up her butt because when he gets behind her, he goes. Well, he unlocks her, and then there's one point in the movie he goes, and she's like, oh! It's like, you guys, when you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. When they're in the further, and he puts something up somewhere in her.
I didn't notice at all.
No, look at her face. It looked like it went up to a hoo-ha region. Like it doesn't look like it killed her in the back. It went up the wrong pipe.
Oh, fuck.
But anyhow, so. The keymaster, I'm gonna call him the keymaster, takes one of the girls, I think the oldest one, to the further, possesses her spirit. She goes into a coma. They take her to the hospital. Elise wants to do this big seance and go get her back. She gets captured though, unfortunately. And then this Imanchi, what's her name? Imogene, the one that can see, the sister of the other girl, decides to go and help her. Now that's where Specs and Tucker come in, and they're funny as fuck because they're like
the entire movie. They've
been vying for this girl. They both have been like attacking this girl in any which way they can. Eventually, Specs is the one that gets her though. He does it the classic way.
She wasn't even sure when she kissed her. She's like, I know the fucking.
But he had balls. Like when they were upstairs looking for things to kind of like connect the bad guy with the further, she's like, oh my god, I found a vintage comic book. He's like, you know how much this is worth? I was like, it was a cool moment in the movie. I don't know why I like that so much. The sister goes into the further, finds Elise in a fucking Alcatraz. This is where the keymaster is taking her, and also a dead girl shows her the way.
There's so much. And that's the thing. Like this movie, like the big surprising plot twists are that like, oh shit, it's not a ghost, it's a real fucking person. That happened twice. That happened when Farmer Man Jim had a nurse locked in the basement, and she becomes real, and then it happened again. And a scene that I loved was the suitcase scene when her and Tucker find this fucking tunnel. They find this They find this tunnel with all these suitcases in it, and it turns out that the girl she saw when she thought it was just using her gifts as a little kid was actually girls that her dad was keeping there and fucking murdering with his goddamn stick. And he's like redneck murderous Donatello. And then she finds more suitcases and shit tons of suitcases, and I'm really fucking into it at this point because it's like, holy shit, true crime matches fucking evil, matches fucking Insidious. Crazy shit's happening.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, I can't take it.
Then they did the Conjuring thing that they have to do in these movies, where in like the third Chinese egg suitcase, a fucking monster pops out.
Dude, they teased the shit out of that. It was like, ooh.
Yeah, like, oh, not yet. Not yet.
What? And then I was doing this, I was like, just fucking get to it.
They're not to be quicker than that. But it did piss me off too, and this is one of the things that pissed me off about the movie. Not a lot did. I liked this movie a lot. I enjoyed it. It was a weird 4th movie in a franchise. I enjoyed it a lot. Many layers, but
you say layer another time, dude. You might as well make a cake.
Bean dip, baby. I love it.
Many bean dips.
But at one point,
you said you love bean dip. Baby.
I do love bean dip.
Bean dip is amazing.
Die potatoes, baby.
You went yeah.
Good balls of fire. One thing that does piss me off about this movie is when the monsters pop out, and this happened in the suitcase scene, it happened at least 3 times. Monster finally fucking pops out, and then we just scan to another scene. Yeah. If they don't know what the monster's supposed to do, we just cut to another scene, and she's passed out somewhere. The suitcase scene in particular, this really serious moment happens, the monster finally pops out, grabs her by the neck, she screams.
Did you not check my bags, bitch?
Next thing you know, you've got Specs doing hypnotizing Imogen, and they're laughing and making jokes, and it's like, dude, like, you guys, you're like, fucking...
This is towards the end, by the way. This is where, to me, the movie starts kind of unraveling because of situations like that and other situations that are involved.
I like the Final Fantasy.
It's not unraveling to a point where it's not, like, you can't make something out of it.
I'm actually shocked you don't though, because like typically I'm against this sort of thing, but they go into the further, and the final standoff is she goes down there and she realizes that this big Bagul looking motherfucker has just been feeding off of evil and fear. And he's made her dad do this, and he made Redneck Bob Jim do this, and that's the whole cause. And then they have this weird, like, she's powerful and that she has this fight with him, and at one point she takes the lantern and shoots him into the sky.
I like that. I like that. I thought that scene was cool, but if it was a movie like I don't know, what's that movie about the Tooth Fairy that fucking loses? You know,
Hook.
yeah, Hook. It's Hook. No, that fucking movie that came out.
Don't get mad at me.
Darkness. Well, you're supposed to know this shit. Darkness Falls. Darkness Falls. When I went to watch Darkness Falls, I knew it was an action, stupid ass movie that got horror elements into it.
It's the fourth movie in a franchise.
But I enjoyed it for that reason at the end. Like, it was action oriented at that point. I wasn't scared anymore. Then at that point, it was like, I have the power to remove you from my situation.
I like they went a little bit fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with
They did. They had the Dream Warriors power. But when I'm going to see an Insidious movie, I'm expecting some disturbing shit. I want to see disturbing shit. I don't want to necessarily. No, I'm going to take that. I don't want to. But I expect it to happen to my face either way. But I didn't get that. You got the Dream Warriors.
I just think it's almost unfair to expect that at this point in the franchise.
Well, I mean, I thought
the opening scene was.
Yeah, it got
that was also just jump scares.
But I think again, it goes back to them stumbling towards the end.
I just don't think you can do that anymore because we've already covered the first.
Well, I think we haven't seen we haven't seen all of it.
Now all you can do is create characters that you love and make a fun story. Which is what I think this did. I thought it made a fun story. You're not gonna have that same fear factor that you had with the original. It's just not gonna happen.
When you see all the jail cells, though, I really thought the guy with the red face, because he's a weaker demon, I think, than the Keymaster.
Face?
Well, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be behind one of these, like, let me out of your fucking house. Yeah. Like, he's like, can I get out? I'm a little boy.
I was excited when he showed up for a second. I thought he was going to have more to do with it.
But you know, unfortunately, the movie, it ends in a way, okay, so...
It ends going into the first Insidious.
So she uses the whistle to call her mother. And her mother fucking comes from 1945 with, like, the strong woman thing, you know, on the ads that you saw all the time in the 40s. She comes in and bursts the fucking demon's bubble. By the way, the demon, the Keymaster, looks like Keith Richards off fucking, like, he has like these little webs.
I think he looks like Magoo on a diet.
He does, but he looks like an old rocker. That's one more shelf. Like, he runs out like, one more shelf. Like, he just, to me, the design is terrible. It doesn't.
I thought it looked good, man.
He looks like a pig, dude. I don't know. Like when he's running, when you see him, his big butt cheeks running. I'm just not scared. Like, I think, again, that goes back to my point. In the non-spoiler review, I talked about it. You show too much, you lose the effect. Like,
for me, this was more people under the stairs than it was Insidious.
He looked like one of those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't seen the light for years.
It just seemed fun and crazy to me, but with some deep elements if you look deeper into it.
So, anyhow, Elise does unlock herself with the help of her mother by blowing the whistle. The fucking whistler.
Zelda.
The whistler whistle. And then,
is there a whistle in Zelda?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Ocarina of Time.
I never played it.
That's a great game.
I love the case though. It's gold as fuck.
If you get the gold one, it's
I didn't understand how to play though.
But so she does that, and she also rescues the sister that was in the coma, and she teaches Imogene how not to do things. It's a cool scene, I suppose. Now I think everybody was expecting some kind of ultimate jump scare at the end because that's what they're known for, kind of to do. It didn't really pan out that way. And when I talk about TLC, you know, Lifetime Movie Award shit. It goes into that because you have this soft music going on. They don't even have that cool, insidious, screechy noise effect going on. That music that they had in the first one. There's nothing going on. It's just like it's real soft, and all you get. It is cool. Now there is one moment when they're trying to make a way back to the hospital that they do run into Insidious 1, and you see the kid climbing up the ladder. And
it's a cool Easter egg, but it's almost awkward because it's just like a bunch of grown people standing at this kid's face with their ladder, and they're just like, weird. And they just move on.
Yeah, he's like, maybe you shouldn't climb that ladder.
It's like the fucking Oregon Trail. Like, you want to trade pelts?
Yeah, he's like, nope, okay, see you later. It's like, yeah, and they shut the door. But
big old Paul. Well, all right.
But yeah, and then, you know, towards the end of the movie is, you know, everything is recovered, everything is okay. Then you go into Insidious 1. She gets a phone call about, what's this kid's name?
I don't remember.
Not Dylan.
At this point.
I don't know. The kid's name to the first one that she's got to help. She gets a phone call and she's like, oh yeah, I know who he is, and Josh and all this stuff. But the funny thing is when you see Darth Maul, when she has a dream about Darth Maul, he goes like this shit. It zooms into the window, and I guess they thought it was going to be a jump scare. By the way, there's so many jump scares. At this point, you don't care. You're immunized. He goes, he's like, let me in the fucking house.
He looks like Muggsy Bogues.
He does. He does. He's like, check out my candy corn eyes. But yeah, it's not even scary at that point. And then the movie ends. It just fucking ends when she's like, I'll be there tomorrow because we're going into Insidious 1. Now that's unfortunate because by doing that, we know there's not going to be any more because Lin Shaye. Well, you warped it around now. Like now, Insidious 4. You told her backstory, and it goes into Insidious 1. You can't tell more.
It was weird because Lee Whannell said, like...
What are you doing, Insidious Lost Files?
He felt like between Insidious 3 and Insidious 1, there was place... Like, he said that he thought that there was a place for many stories to be told.
We hope so.
About, like, what she went through and stuff like that.
But she was dead.
But you're right. Like, that's done now, because 3 and 4 went right into 1. But you could technically still do an official Insidious 3.
Well, unfortunately, we can't have
Insidious 5.
can't have Elise come back from the dead. But if you do... Well, okay, so what they do in this movie, they don't really talk about her early career, you know? She's 16 and then she's like 60-something years old.
They do mention Quinn from Insidious 3 multiple times in this movie. They do that. And that wraps it up for the most part, but I gave it a strong 7.5. And that I feel like for a fourth movie in a franchise, and I said this a lot in the regular review, but I'll say it again, I think people who go to the theater wanting their Friday night fucking scary-ass movie that's going to be talked about around the water cooler tomorrow, you're not going to get that. Those people will be disappointed. I think the people who are really invested in the Insidious franchise are going to go to this, see it for what it is, and I think a lot of people are going to love it because there's so many layers to it. It does a lot of stuff. It adds to the lore. It gives Elise a really, really strong backstory. They allowed the cheesiness to hit pretty hard just to take the story up a little notch, and I think they did a good job with that. I liked it a lot. It reminds me of People Under the Stairs for some weird reason.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think it's my second favorite sequel in the franchise.
Wow.
Or first favorite beyond the original.
That's fine. They've given you a unique outlook and scenario regarding the afterlife, and I think they've done a great job. And I would love to see a dick out of my mouth. I would love to see more stories involved with the furthering and these demons and what they want and their motives and why they're doing what they do and certain people they pick and why they pick them. I would love, even the psychology part of it, I would love to explore that. Unfortunately, they wrapped up, to me they did, Lin Shaye. I mean, they kind of did. And with Insidious 4 going into Insidious 1, unless they do the in-between stories when she was 16, in this movie explores, she was 16 and then she just suddenly jumps to 60-something years old. There's multiple stories, but like you said, it's hard for her to play younger at this point because she's getting older.
I think sequels at this point in this franchise, from this point moving on, for sure, if you're going to make sequels, then you have to make them with the mind of Insidious franchise fans.
I would go back to the first.
And you can be successful as that. I mean, fucking straight to or VOD, whatever. Like, I think you have to make these movies with the people who are fans of the further and the mythology and stuff behind it. You can't make any more Insidious movies hoping for it to be a mass hit and for everyone to be scared. I think that time's passed.
Well, I mean, if you waited a few years after this one,
like 10.
No,
like fucking Saw can drop a movie every 10 years and people will see it.
But that's Saw. Yeah, it's Saw. It's like
doesn't mean it'll be good though.
They just want to see the deaths.
As we saw with Saw.
Fuck shit. I saw my life wasted. But I mean, you could do an Insidious next chapter because actually I didn't think about this. They introduced Imogene.
Imogen Potence.
Imogen Potence.
I'm right here.
Kill me.
Comment down below.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Comment down. Love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some. God damn, why am I up in here?
Oh, god damn.
Put that cookie down. I say.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.